tubes! Hi, Shasta. Hi, Pickles. Oh, wait. Shit, that's not gonna work. Don't redeem anything. Stop it. One second. Okay, you can redeem. The shackles are off! You can redeem.
Help! Help! I'm being repressed!
Well, that is true momentarily, yes. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. So on the docket today, it turns out I don't need Viridian. I forgot I had made the Viridian I had, but we still need lead white. We're going to make definitely lead white. Probably some ultramarine blue, and possibly chromium green oxide, and we're gonna retube. We're gonna retube this yellow because there's some issues with it currently. The best kind of handcuff Shasta. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing today, everybody. So, we're gonna start off with the lead, and there's reasons why. Is because I clean off my palette a lot afterwards, but I want to get this will give me multiple layers of cleaning, so residue won't be an issue, or shouldn't be an issue afterwards. I do have some fears about this though, considering that if I dump this entire tub out, I think it might. There's a chance that it will, you know, go in the air, so I have to be careful. I always want to wipe the D. So that's something I gotta be careful about. So I actually brought some rags that I'm gonna wet, and while I dump this onto my palette, because we're gonna make the rest of this. FYI. This amount is probably only gonna fill one of these. So, So yeah. Okay. Can you make paint by blending it? Well, so what a lot of industrial companies do, Pickles, for the first step, they actually put it in industrial blenders, industrial mixers, like stand mixers, right? So when the first part that I use, you know, that I mix the paints with the palette knives, they do in a stand mixer. Then they take what was in the stand mixer into a 3 mil roller to mold the paint. Okay, a blender that you make shakes in would not work well. It probably wouldn't work. For a multitude of reasons. So yeah. Well, what is on the menu, Paperclip? What are you gonna eat? So let's just go over the materials again. We have gloves, mandatory N95 mask. We have our tubes, and we have smaller tubes as well. Tubes. This is ultramarine blue. So we got our tubes. We need at least 2 palette knives. A spoon is helpful. A pipette is helpful. Glass butt plug, and a surface to mole on. Mix and mole on. As for the oils that we're using today, for the lead white, we're using Pale Grinders oil. I will not lick the paint. I will not So for lead, we use pale grinder's oil. And then for the other paints we're making today, we are going to be using age refined linseed oil. Okay. So let's put on the gloves. And then we're going to wipe things down. A pre-clean. A pre-de-wipe. Hi, Sashi. How could it be dangerous? So we're gonna wipe down these. We're gonna wipe down the spoon. So I don't have plastic. This is like my only plastic spoon. Okay. Don't need to wipe down that. Wipe you down. Wipe all this down. Okay. Good. How are you today, Sashi? How are you, Shasta and Pickles and Paperclip? Hope you're well. So this is going to be the tricky part. I was considering doing this and cutting off the bottom because I don't want it to dust up. That's my main fear here. Let's put on the mask. All right, we got our mask on. Okay. All right, so what's the best way to do this? Do I just cut off the top here and come at it from the bottom? But I'm still gonna have problems getting there, so let's do it this way. See, okay, fuck. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna cover this up with a slightly wet paper towel when we open this. I'm doing well. Well, I'm glad you slept in. Okay. Fuck. Let's continue. God, is this actually enough? It seems like a lot. Maybe I won't use the rest of this. Let's do one more big scoop. That feels like more than I used last time. It does seem more than I used last time. So maybe this actually does yield more than I originally expected. Maybe I just misjudged volumes here. So we won't use the rest of this, actually, which is good. But we will scoop out some more of it. Okay. If this makes me 400 milliliters of paint, that would be outstanding. Cost-wise. So let's mix. So once again, this is lead white. I am wearing an N95 mask. We're trying to avoid making it dust up into the air as much as possible. And this is pale grinder's oil that we just put into it. So I'm going to work very slowly here as to avoid creating dust. Yeah, that needs a lot more oil. Well, I'm glad you got a good amount of rest, Sashi. I know you got a busy day, I think, tomorrow. Yeah, that probably would help, actually. Or do it under just a fume hood. This uses more oil than I remember it using, too. Get every drop of this oil out of here. So our goal here is just to make a thick paste. A thick with 3 C's. A thick paste. See, I just flinged some pigment. great. Where's my other Pale Grinders oil? I had another one. Oh, fantastic, Rob. I hope it went well for you. Now, just know that some separation is natural. So if you open up that tube and oil comes out of it first, that is perfectly natural. Companies use additives to stop that. You just mix the oil back in with your paint, and that's it. Do not lick the paperclip. This is lead, all right? This is lead. Not once, not ever, ever do we eat lead. Lead is toxic. I think I need a touch. I thought I had more Pale Grinders oil, but I don't. What bread dough is this? What are you baking? It's called lead white. It's called lead white. I kind of swore I had another Pale Grinders oil. The question is, where the fuck could it be? Oh, it's right here. Just look like the other one. Okay. Okay. This eating lead is something I don't even like to joke about. You can joke about the other ones. Just don't joke about lead. Lead is very serious business. We have to be very careful. Once again, I'm wearing my N95 mask. I'm trying not to create dust. So this is lead carbonate also. That's the actual material. Lead carbonate. For other lead paints, like Naples Yellow is lead antimony. And for the lead tin colors, it's lead stannate. Lead stannate. But this is one of the most most important pigments historically. outside of the toxic nature of it, it's also one of the best pigments to paint with. Need a scooch more oil. But we're at the point we got to be very careful with the amount of oil we add. We have to be very careful. The goal is to make this paste with as little oil as possible. We're at like marshmallow consistency a bit. Like in between like a marshmallow and fluff. But much more dense. Lil Drizzler, how'd you know about my rap name? How'd you find that out?
Oh my.
It was Lil Drizzler and MCP Pants. Were my rap names. Hi, Omizu. How are you doing today? I am doing well. There's some like little dry nuggets. Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you for joining me, Omizu. Okay. There we go. All right, so we got a paste made. I'm fairly certain all the dried pigment is covered up at the moment. So now it would be fairly safe to be able to take off your N95 mask. No worries, Sweepy. Good luck. It is and it isn't. It's actually hard work, Arts Effect, because this is like... There's also some stress to it, but in this case there's stress to it because this is lead. This is lead white that we're working with. Kaviticus, thank you for the follow. Hunter Wifecrafts, thank you for the raid. Oh my god! Interesting, Maddie. Hi, Mud. We just started Omizu. You just missed the dry powder and mixing in the oil. Welcome in, Hunter. Give me those lonks. Well, welcome in. It is very true. It is a very true name, Hunter. Hunter Wifecrafts, thank you for the follow as well. Oh my god. What were you working on? Give me your links now. I better see some links, Hunter. I better see some links. All right. So the next thing we do is we take our glass butt plug and we're going to start doing something called molding, which is essentially is ensuring that we disperse the oil around all the pigment particles. Oh, awesome. Wood burning. Fantastic. All right, everybody follow this Instagram now or else. Because I've been following Hunter Wifecrafts for dozens of years already. And you should too. All right. So we can't mold all of this at once. We also want to measure how much this loosens up. So we're going to take probably that amount to start off with. I got to be careful putting that over there. Shit. Okay. Don't you condescend to me. Okay. All right, so all we have to do for molding, so we have glass and we have a frosted side on this, okay? We just plop this down here and we're gonna make semicircles until this loosens up to desired consistency, or we've done this enough that we think it's molded properly. This is very important. I do not know. I do not know. So we're gonna... Sometimes I have to loosen it up by doing some like twirls on top of it. Because you can see this one is like... Maybe could use a touch more oil. Oh, fantastic. You're welcome. Thank you for the raid. But what this, once again, what this does is this makes sure that the pigment particles are surrounded by oil. That's what this does. Here, let me refresh my... I'm not going to restart my stream. I'm just going to refresh that. I refresh my Twitch. But I'm not going to restart the stream. Wait, did I actually die? Maybe that's what happened. But you can see it's already loosened up a bit. Yeah. I have found though, like this rotating helps a bit, especially when paint is difficult to work with early. And then we'll... There we go. So you just want to make sure we go over all the paint at least a few times doing this. This is why making your own paint and so for some pigments is actually a lot of work. But it saves you a lot. How did you come up with your Twitch chain? Oh, I'm very transparent and honor, Hunter Wifegraphs. I'm just very transparent and honest about myself and self-aware. It is all in the wrist. It's like a good old-fashioned guard. It's like a good old-fashioned. But you can see how consistency-wise now it's loosened up a bit, right? We're like, compared to that. Lead white I mull a little bit more than other ones because it clumps up so much as well. Yeah. So one of the trade-offs as well from making your own paint is consistency. Okay. There are pigments that you will not be able to achieve the same consistency the machine can get you. That is largely the very small particle pigments like phthalo blue, Prussian blue, transparent red oxide are paints that you essentially should not really make on your own. They are there's too much of a trade-off. And but you just see how much this is loosened up already. So we're going to move on to the next batch of this. But this part is imperative. Do not skip this process. Some companies will use their machine. They'll put the paint through up to 7 times for the molding process. That's typical with those smaller particle pigments. So now we'll take the next batch of it. So then we'll start off with an old-fashioned a little bit. You're in a low lead dye? Okay. We'll start moving slowly to get it started. Put it on top of this big pile and do the same thing. So naturally it will pile up on the edges, and then that's when we just kind of regroup. Put it in the middle. Well, thank you, Lizzie. Do you have a spooky story or ghost experience to share? We were sharing spooky stories earlier today. No, but I have done a ghost hunt before, Hunter. I have done a ghost hunt. But I am what you call a skeptic who would love for ghosts to exist. But unfortunately, I don't have a spooky story. Because I am super toxically masculine and I'm never scared. No, you get spooked, though. You do get spooked. But it was a blast. I'd go in front. I'd go in front. Funny enough, though, I'm still not good with, like, scary movies, though. See, Lizzie, I would live in a haunted house just to either affirm either side of my skepticism or belief. But as of right now, I have never encountered anything that would suggest he's got an itsy bitsy teeny weeny stream streak. That is tiny, Water Pop. Oh, interesting. I've never had sleep paralysis. They're so fun. Yeah, I mean, I'm not good with jump scares. This isn't From Dusk Till Dawn, Hunter wife. I'm just gonna call you Hunter. This is not From Dusk Till Dawn, all right? Or what was that movie with, oh yeah, Bordello of Blood with Dennis Miller, that asshole? Awesome. Go to none of y'all hosts. Ooh, that's spooky. Right, next batch. My wrist is cracking, huh? Alright. If y'all are looking for a workout, mowing paint is a workout. I'm releasing my new it's called Sweating to the Renaissance Oldies. I'm releasing a new videotape, so watch out for that. Where you play Renaissance style music and you just mold paint for hours and hours on end. For little to no pay.
Nice.
So look out for that. You are also required to bring your own pig's bladders. Just FYI. Not provided in the instructional tape. For some reason, this makes my wrist crack. It doesn't hurt, though. Does anyone remember those old Richard Simmons Sweating to the Oldies tapes? Those things were fantastic. Oh, good. I didn't know you. Okay, good. It's good that you already have one. Okay. It's too late, Hunter. What were you given? Oh, Richard Simmons tape? Yeah. I remember just watching them one time. It was like summer vacation. For some reason, we had one. And I remember just watching one out of boredom. This is a bit of a spectacle. Alright. Next batch. Next batch. Start it with the old-fashioned. It is somewhat important to like change how you mix every once in a while just to ensure that you're getting enough mulling. So what I mean is like by changing directions, and so instead of going clockwise, you go counterclockwise. Sometimes you'll see me do some like straight moves like this back and forth in the perpendicular way, right? Because like I said, the only goal of this part is to disperse oil around the pigments. That's it. That's all we're trying to achieve with this. If this doesn't happen, what will happen is when the oil dries, you'll have basically clumps of dried pigment. And it will affect how your paint dries or your paint film develops. And it could be a not great thing. It'll make your painting less archival. And will change how your color looks as well. Ooh, that's creepy. That's creepy, Hunter. Stop licking the paint! Amy, no! This is lead! Amy, this is lead! Spit it out! Fuck. No, we are not! We don't joke about lead. We don't joke about lead here. God damn it, cheese. You animals. This is lead. You're all animals. No, it's not good to joke about lead. Fucking shoulder. Shoulder hurt. Well, good. Okay. Let's take a little bit more. I don't know we're having a technical difficulty. We're having a technical difficulty. Cell phone. But it's nice. Lead does equal bad and cheesy. It is not Show Me Art. Lead white is one of my most highly used pigments by volume. So I'm just making sure I have enough of it. This amount of paint would probably last me 3 months. But it depends on the certain paints. And I actually use for a snow painting, I'd rather titanium white becomes a lot more useful in snow. But lead white is better in almost all other cases outside of cool temperature paintings. In any warm keyed temperature based painting, lead white is heavily used. I'm invincible! I figured it out, everybody! I'm invincible! You can't hurt me anymore, everybody! This is wonderful! You can't hurt me anymore! You can't hurt me anymore. This is wonderful. Well, I guess you can psychologically hurt me. I guess you could verbally abuse me. That is true. But at least you can't physically hurt me. It's more about just comfort, Pickles. God damn it, show me art. We do not eat the paint here. We never eat paint. Not once, not ever, do we just willingly eat lead paint. That is true. That is true. Okay. Last batch. Let's again start off with a good old-fashioned. Start off slow. So big advantage, if you're painting watercolors, you should make your own paint, by the way. It is so much easier than this. If you paint with watercolors, make your own goddamn paint. I would have made like 3 colors by now. That amount of... I might. Or I might have to change professions, Pickles. Tug jobs, 5 cents, everybody.
Wink.
Interesting. Why did that happen like that? But we are almost ready to tube it, everybody. So by the way, if I was making transparent red oxide or phthalo blue or Prussian blue, I would have needed to mold this probably 6 times the amount of molding I did for this one to get a semi-decent consistency paint. You know, I didn't prepare any syringes, though. I did forget that part of this, so we might have to do this the old-fashioned way, huh? Now let's mix up this. Which 3 were those again? You're talking about the paints that I might make today? Ultramarine blue, chromium oxide green, and lead white were the 3 that were on the docket. Because I actually had made the Viridian I thought I didn't make. Oh, yeah. No, the big 3 that I would advise you to not make are Prussian blue, phthalo blue, and transparent red oxide. So all those are extremely small particle-sized pigments. I would still advise you to make your own titanium white. Titanium white is kind of the limit. Yeah. You can see how much this is loosened up. We're at like soft peaks, like whipping cream, like soft peaked whipping cream. You could argue it's a little bit too loose. But how is that even possible? It is actually possible, but I think this will be fine. Now we're just going to try and corral this up. Because poisons do that to trick you. White is not my jam. What about your jelly? Toulouse-Lautrec? Wasn't he the, was he the reviewer that coined Impressionism? I don't know. I don't recall. I do love Marshmallow Fluff. Most likely, Lizzie. It's a touch too loose. But I think it's still fine, Shasta. Alright, so we got our tube, and now we're just gonna jam this in this hole, okay? We're just gonna jam all this. Do I want to do it this way? Hi, Marianne. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me again. Fluffernutter, those are delicious. Okay. We're gonna do this the old-fashioned way. I just hate how messy this gets. But... J1, this is lead white. We're currently doing lead white. The first one of today. I did not. I just assumed. Well, Lizzie, maybe we'll make paint. Maybe we'll make some paint when you come over. Shocked, I tells ya. Every once in a while, we're gonna clean up the edges. Clean yourself off, tube. What shall you paint? We're not painting today, Marianne. We're making paint today. We are making paint today. We are making one of my most expensive paints that I use. I mean, there's just so much more texture, Lizzie. Right? Like this is more of a gel than a fluid. Even though a gel is a fluid, but like, you know. Oh, in the United States you can get the pigment, J1. In Europe, you have to prove that you are using it for art. You have to go through a process to get certified that you are like a fine, like, you know, working in fine art. But I know of European painters who, I know multiple European painters who use lead white. God, this pigment is so heavy. This tube is easily like this tube is probably 7 or 8 times heavier than quinacridone magenta. Ah! J1, Kramer Pigments has it. Kramer Pigment. I could buy this right now from Kramer Pigments. I'm using Kramer Pigments right now. It's just called Kremnitz White on Kramer Pigments website. Because you're in the US, right, J1? And by the way, Kramer Pigments for 1 kilogram has the best price by a significant margin. Because I did check it the other day because I was like, I probably need to order some more lead white. Yeah, I'm getting that tube filled. Yeah, we're filling this tube up to the max, everybody. Might even be overfilling it a scotch. Might even be overfilling it a scotch. We might have overfilled it, we'll see. We'll see. So when you manually put in the paint like this, you're going to have to scrape down the edges because you're going to get a lot of... Oh, God, this is going to be tough to seal this. But this is good news that the lead white goes farther than I expected it to, because I originally thought that that tub of lead white would only make about 300 milliliters, but now it's looking closer to 400 milliliters, which is a lot of money. I actually misjudged it. So 1 kilogram of lead white will probably make roughly 400 milliliters. Question is, can we seal it? Did I overfill this? Because I might have overfilled it, which will make me waste probably. I'm afraid I'm going to waste a little bit, but I don't want to take it out of the tube at this point. This amount would probably last me... Pickles will probably last me 25 paintings, 25 to 30 paintings. This amount will last me. Which I was estimating to be around like 3 months-ish. This is one of my highest, because this pigment is not very strong at all. It will... I have to use a lot of it on a given painting. But once again, it's a trade-off. Because lead white makes your paintings more archival. So to me, that's a worthy trade-off. So anytime I mix in titanium white, I also mix in some lead white. Yeah. Well, you see how far up this goes? Like, I have very little room. Normally, I have, like, another ½ inch. So what we're going to do... The problem is the sides. See, yeah, we already have a little bit, yeah. So we do have some waste, but it's not that bad. Some waste, though. But yeah, see? This thing is full. I wish I used, like, one of those last tablespoons. I wish I didn't use. Where is my crimper? There's Tiny Boy Crimper. Where's Big Daddy Crimper? Okay. Alright, so we're gonna crimp like it's like Greenbag owes us money. Fucker! Money! Now! So we crimp it first. We got some on our crimpers themselves, which is not, just wipe it off. Alright. Didn't crimp it well enough though. Thankfully, one big benefit though of lead white is it's very easy to clean up because the particle size is so large. So it is not overly difficult to clean up, which is a big benefit. So we're gonna bring out this smaller one for some extra crimping. Okay. Now we'll fold this over. Try and do a tiny fold. There we go. We got a tiny crimp. That's good. Now we crimp again. Big Papa crimp. Wipe it off again. Fold it over again. Crimp again. Squeeze the shit out of it. And I don't think I'm going to be able to fold this over again. So we're just going to make sure that this is ultra crimped. I think this would be too tough to fold over again. So we're gonna it's close. It's close, but I think I'm gonna leave it like this. Make sure it's ultra super mega crimped. Okay. Yeah, exactly. That's probably what I'm going to do. Pickles. Wipe off stuff. This paper towel. Okay. Okay, so then the next step is we're gonna label it. We're gonna give it another wipe down though. But this is about $130 worth of paint, everybody. This is actually probably more because this is overfilled. Rublev charges $126 for 150 milliliters. This is probably more than 150 milliliters. So we just made probably $135 worth of paint for $35 of materials. Probably less than $35. Probably closer to 30. $30 of materials for, we made $100. Now, if anybody wants to buy this for $130, sold. Sold. And we got our labels. From the Baby Label Maker. Alright. Black glove label, Kremnitz white, done. This thing is heavy. This is probably... God, this feels almost like it's about 2 pounds. About 2 pounds worth of paint. Fucking heavy. Lead is dense, yo. Lead is dense. Now this is the portion of the stream where we dance and clean. It's heavy, Maddie. It's very heavy. It is a big turd. All right, now we're gonna clean up more so than we have on other ones because we don't want lead dust lying around. So we're gonna wipe off things, and we're also gonna change gloves. We are also gonna change gloves. Because we think that's a good idea. But we're gonna do that once we've cleaned a bunch. Nice. Like I said, thankfully lead white is not difficult to clean up because the particle size is so large. So basically, the stronger tinting the pigment is, so essentially the smaller the particle size, the much more difficult it is to clean up. Lead white is not a small particle size. That's why it's not a strong tinting pigment, and that's why it is semi-transparent as well. But you'll notice that the stronger tinting strength pigments are more difficult to clean up. All right. Okay. I should have cleaned up that too. Okay. All right. So now we're going to change gloves as well. Out of respect, we're not going to sell those to the Japanese businessmen. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to retube this yellow paint because but we're going to do a couple things to improve. I've noticed this with the bismuth colors, that when they sit around in the tube, they separate a lot, but they could separate into larger clumps. And I don't know if that's because I didn't mold them enough, or because I didn't tube them well enough. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you what I did I've been happy with the lemon yellow that I retubed, because what I did is I added actually a little bit of my Impasto medium, and I also added a touch of oleo gel to it, and it's been very stable since then. So that might be something I do with those colors in the future. So basically I have this yellow that I could feel hard clumps in, and the flow properties have been shit. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up and scrape everything out of here and retube it. So we just cut off the end, And we're going to scrape all this shit out of here and see how this is gonna go. Don't worry. See, there's just like really hard clumps here. And I don't know why. And maybe this is a pigment that really needs a stabilizer. But we're going to scrape everything we can out of this because this is a good color. And it's expensive. So that was just from this bottom here. Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious on what causes this, Shasta. Because it's happened, this specific problem has happened with both the lemon yellow. Remember I had those issues with the lemon yellow before I retubed it? And okay. We are also going to put these into smaller tubes because I'm not going to use another large tube on this, so. But you can see how, like, just dry this is. This is like all... It's like the consistency of like a hard chewing gum. Very, very hard. No worries, Pickles. This is like... I don't know if this is like... It's different. Like there's... I don't know if this is... I hope this isn't dried already. But there are parts of this that feel like it's like dried. We'll see what we can do. I'm hoping that it just separated a lot. scraping all the yogurt out. I wonder if this is like a reaction to the tubes, maybe? Let's see. I don't know if I can get much more out of this. That's all right. Okay. So, I don't know if the, like, it does like cut up. I don't know if this is dried oil or just pigment that's just separated to oblivion. So let's just try mixing. We're gonna start off by adding some oleo gel to this. We're gonna start off with a little. Okay. Maybe we add a touch of oil to this. Maybe like a couple drops. They were. Thought I had it started. Seed. Nope. Stand oil. Table grinders oil. Okay. I gotta be careful with how much oil I add to this. I only want to add like a couple drops. Fuck. Ow, son of a bitch. So let's just let's start off with that amount of oil. It's helped a bit. It's helped a bit. Now let's add some of the impasto medium to this. Let's add that amount. Not a lot. We're not adding a lot. But we're hoping this will help. This has helped my lemon yellow quite a bit. And we're not trying to make this more transparent necessarily. A little bit more oleo gel. The oleo gel seems to help a lot, though. But this is something I'm going to be keeping my eye out in these colors. This might be a reason to switch to cadmiums, if this is something that happens every time I use them. Because so far it's happened both times. Basically, every time I don't use the paints immediately and they sit around, so if I make a large tube of it, this has happened. Just gonna add a little bit more. I just want it to be a little bit looser. Maybe we'll add another drop of oil. It's good. It's really good consistency now. I'm curious if I should mix in some oleo gel when I make it. Next time I make it. We'll retube this. Okay. Let's tube this up. We got a tiny tube. Tiny tube. This is paint. Oh, I added Impasto Medium, which is just basically chalk, silica, and bentonite. Bentonite is a type of clay. And I added oleo gel to a paint that had like essentially separated so much that it became very unusable. And so I added it to essentially try and stabilize the paint so it becomes usable. That's what I did, Marianne. And right now we're just re-adding it back into a tube. Marianne, Maddie from Twitch chat says hi. Nope, Jack of all crafts. I stream on YouTube and Twitch. Maddie, Marianne says hi. Yep, we are double dipping. Might as well. How are you doing, Jack of all crafts? Nice to see you. So I have J1 on YouTube, Omizu has been on YouTube, and Marianne. There's a few other regulars on YouTube as well. They'll come in and say hi. K in Maine. K in Maine is largely a YouTuber. Good to hear, Jack of all crafts. Thanks for joining me. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. So now we're gonna close this tube up. So you can see how much more this one stains, by the way, how much it stays on my gloves more. It's because this pigment is smaller particle size and is just a much stronger tinting pigment. That's the primary reason. I'll take it as long as you're trying, Maddie. As long as you're trying. You're not going to be you're not going to be just make sure your expectations are in order, are correct. It's okay to suck at something. It's okay to suck at something. So you can blame me. You can blame me for your failures all you want. I'll be more than happy to take the blame. Well, enjoying something is not something you can force. It's not something you can force. So if you don't like it, just be honest with yourself and just be like, I don't like this. That's okay too. That's okay as well. Because if you do something that you don't like, for whatever reason, you're just going to regret it. Oh my God, the weight of all this blame! I can't take it. I can't take it. Okay. All right, so now we're going to bend this over. Crimp again. Yep. Exactly. That's why you should always start off with shitty supplies when you're painting. It's better to know, first off, it's just better to, it's safer in case you don't know if you'll enjoy it or not, right? I think most people, there's a romanticized view that most people think that, like, painting is automatically therapeutic and, like, I actually don't think painting is therapeutic for me. It's something I just enjoy doing. It's like, but it is stressful. But there are, like, games that I like that are stressful. Like, I've been playing Project Zomboid. That game is stressful, right? But that doesn't mean it's like, that doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. But painting is a lot of work. Sealed up. Yep. And that's okay too. Right? Well, see, then I'm not sure you're cut out for painting, Maddie. Then I'm not sure you're cut out for it, but, because then it's just going to be miserable. We got our labels from our baby label maker. So just make sure you're honest with yourself. Okay. Done. Retubed, everybody. Retubed. Okay, let's clean up again. I won't lie to you though, Maddie. I'll let you dream, but I won't lie to you. How inspiring. Listen, Maddie. My ultimate care is that you're having fun and that you that the people who paint are actively enjoying it and leading happy lives or doing things that lead to themselves being happy. That goes for you too. Yep, Marianne, you get it. So, I'm not gonna like say that, hey, you should buy all this stuff and paint because it's therapeutic. It's therapeutic for some. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all, Maddie. I think there's a good chance that you like it. But I have skepticism if what you like is just the finished stuff. Is the finished piece, then I would, if that truly is, you don't find any enjoyment out of doing it, then I would suggest that you shouldn't paint. But you should find another medium or, art to use. Well, then good. Then if that's the case, then you'll be fine. Yep, that does happen. But how awful would it be if you spent hundreds of dollars and, hundreds of hours doing stuff and just ultimately like, I don't enjoy this. Why am I doing this? How awful would that be? That wouldn't be good at all. No, I get that, but it's still money. And it's still your time, Maddie. It's still your time. Right? It's just equivalent like, if you want to try out ceramics, right? Well, should you go buy out a cheap wheel and some cheap clay and do it? No, you should go to studio, right? See if you even think you'll enjoy it. Does it give you that itch? All right. Yeah, I know you're not. I know you're not. And I apologize for belaboring the point. Maddie, what color? What color should we do? Boom, boom, boom. Marianne wants blue, Maddie. Marianne wants blue. This is ultramarine blue. This is ultramarine blue, and this is chromium green oxide. Chromium green oxide. You trust Marianne? Marianne, Maddie's a big fan of you, apparently. You want the blue? Ooh la la! All right, blue it is. All right. Let's get the mask back on. Well, this is just ultramarine blue. Now, here's a lesson for y'all. Do not sniff this guard. All right, my N95 mask is back on. Wait till you see how much this color changes, everybody. We're only going to try and make a small tube of this. We're just going to make a small tube of this. We're not going to try and make a large tube. Now, what happened to my spoon? There it is. All right, so be careful when opening, because that's when a lot of dust can escape. Woo! Big Dick Sashi. Big Dick Sashi. Okay. All right. So we got this open. All right. We're only going to try and make a smaller tube of this. So, all right. Do no, it is not toxic, Marianne, but you do not want to breathe in dust. You do not want to breathe in paint dust. Okay. We're going to do that much. Now, there's a couple interesting properties. Great work, Sashi. 110. Look at that. All right, so we are using age-refined linseed oil. So what I'm going to do is, and this is important that you do this for a lot of pigments, we're going to separate out that amount of this blue, okay? And you'll see why. All right, we're gonna make a little well. We gotta be careful with the amount of oil we add. But you're gonna see how much this changes, okay? Right? Wait till you see how much this changes when we add oil, okay? Color-wise. Okay. Okay, not even remotely close on the oil, but this happens with this pigment. I have to be very careful. Right? We're only trying to make a thick paste. You may think I'm going too slow with the oil. There is a big reason why, though. We might actually just give it time to wet. Correct, Marianne. I'm only using oil. I am only using linseed oil, aged refined linseed oil. But this pigment has a specific property to it that you have to be very careful with when making it. Hi, Sandra Rose. How you doing, bud? Nice to see you. We're almost there. But notice how much darker it's getting as it gets more oil in there. Now, does anyone want to posture a guess on why this pigment gets darker when we mix it with oil? Does anyone want to guess? Well, awesome, Sandra. That's good. A long weekend. Good to hear. Thank you for spending some of your weekend with me. Not just particle size, Shasta. I actually would not say it's technically particle size, because there are large particle sizes that do this as well. Well, if you have days off, and you have 3 days off from now, yeah, people have different, like, weekends, essentially. Nope, that's not correct either, Marianne. All right. But you see how dark this has gotten? Are you in multiple chats, Maddie? Oh my god. So why does this pigment darken so much? Any other guesses? Any other guesses, everybody? It's a very simple answer. It's actually a very simple answer. But the answer is because it's a transparent pigment. Now, transparency is largely related to particle size, but there are large particle sizes that are transparent and very small ones. So it is actually a function of the particle structure of the pigments, which is related to the size, but size alone is not the answer. It's just because the particle structure of these paints make them transparent. Okay. So you all see how thick this is? You all see how thick this is? And I left this back here too. So look at dry, wet, right? That's just because it's transparent. Okay. So now, see, this is very thick. This is very thick. Right? But we're not going to add more oil to this. We might, but not right now. And the reason why is when you mold this, it gets a lot looser. And there are certain pigments like this. Ultramarine blue is the biggest culprit of this, though. And it's because of the wetting property of the pigment. You're like, this shouldn't mold like this, but it does. Hi, Mirko. Nice to see you, bud. And now, we're going to take a look at the textural difference. You see that? You see how this turned into a... That paste turned into this from molding. Man, paint is beautiful. Such a rich blue.
Marianne, it saves a lot of money. I can control what goes in them exactly as well. And I get a larger selection of colors, Marianne. So I can make colors that companies don't offer. So for example, that yellow you just saw me retube is a color that no company sells as a made paint. And then it saves a lot of money. So like, for example, molding ligaments. Well, you have now, Sander. So Marianne, I made this tube earlier. This tube, if I were to buy this from Natural Pigments, which is the same quality, as in it's just oil and pigment, sell this tube for roughly $130. I made it for $30 worth of materials. I saved $100 on this tube alone. $100. So we should do this too. Yep, in some cases, Marianne, that much. Now, some are less, obviously. I am, Sander. I am. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the conversion rate is, Marianne. You might have to look that one up. Yeah. I do that for the added confusion, Sander. We are, Quotenshoff, we are. I have figured out time travel, but time travel in the sense that I just revert back in time. So I don't create a paradox. My mind just goes into my 5-year-old body. It is awful. And terrifying. Thank you, Sander. I appreciate it. I'm sworn to secrecy, unfortunately, Quotenshoff. I'm sworn to secrecy. And apparently I'm not allowed, by the time cops, I'm not allowed to make investments. Those fuckers. Yes, and there are time cops. They're basically just clones of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
And that's a fact.
And they are really good at kicking. Oh, okay. All right, let's talk about the color we're using right now. So we are making ultramarine blue. Ultramarine blue, one of the most important colors of all history. Why is it so important, or why was it so expensive and talked about? Well, the big reason is because for a substantial period of time, basically until the 1700s, ultramarine blue was the most vibrant cold color and saturated cold color that was available. There were no greens, there were no other blues that were as saturated as ultramarine blue. And but it was very a lot of labor to bring it. Oh, you're the 300th, Maddie? Fantastic. Thank you, Maddie. It took a lot of work and refinement to get it to saturation. So for periods of time, or not saturation, to get it as clean of a color, that was exceptionally desired. And at one point, the weight of ultramarine blue was worth more than its weight in gold. So we're talking a gram of ultramarine blue at one point was worth more than a gram of gold. Okay? So, what does this mean historically? This means that basically only the rich and the church and people who they paid to make paintings for them got to use ultramarine blue. Okay? Some exceptions, specifically in the guilds in Florence. However, usually part of the commissioning process would be supplying the materials. And ultramarine blue was largely used for the Virgin Mary in Christian paintings. So you'll see if you look at a lot of Renaissance paintings, the Virgin Mary's robes were almost always in blue. That was true ultramarine blue. That was exceptionally expensive. Okay. Now this started to change once we started to understand how to synthetically make pigments. One of the first synthetic pigments was Prussian blue, and it instantly became popular because it was a dark, transparent blue that was exceptionally strong tinting and saturated. It changed the market, but then people still desired ultramarine blue. And there was a huge race to see who can synthetically make ultramarine blue. And it finally happened, I believe, around 1815 was when somebody successfully made synthetic ultramarine blue. But this was around the time period that cobalt blue was invented. The Scheele's green and emerald green were available in the 1700s as well. So the demand for blues lessened, but the historical importance of ultramarine blue still lingered. And it is also an exceptionally useful color for mixing, more so than Prussian blue, or phthalo blue, or cobalt blue, for reasons that we won't get into now, but I can elaborate if people really want to hear that. But it's still a staple because of its quality as a color. And was arguably the most influential color or pigment. I wouldn't say influential is the wrong word. It was a significant cultural factor of painting and the development of art and art materials in history, in the entirety of history. I'd be curious to, like, if there was an alternate path of history, what would it be like if there was another saturated blue early on? Or saturated green? As saturated as this? Because azurite could be somewhat saturated, had a lot of different working properties, but it also just wasn't the same color and saturation of ultramarine blue. So there's your historical paint fact. However, there was a paint pigment more expensive than ultramarine blue, though. There was a paint pigment more expensive than ultramarine blue, even at ultramarine blue's more expensive cost, at its highest cost. Which was almost exclusively only used by royalty, or for paintings of royalty, or for creating dye. Saturated. Saturated, Marianne, means how rich the color is, right? So you see how when I spread this blue, see how blue it is? It's not like a grayish blue, right? So a grayish blue would be a desaturated blue, where a blue that is very blue would be called saturated. Does that make sense, Marianne? Let's mix this all together. But you see how that thick paste has turned into a loose paste. And that was only from molding. That was from only molding. It's like magic. That's why you have to be careful with certain pigments. Some pigments will become too liquidy even if they're a thick paste. So it's good to keep some pigment back when you're making it, to make sure you don't get in a situation where your paint is too oily, because that would be no bueno.
All right, let's bring out a tube. All right, let's start tubing. Okay. Oh. Could have made a little bit more, I think, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. Oh. Beans. Beans and toast. No, I just have a section of my table. A section of my desk covered in glass. In the future, though, Marianne, I do want to get a full desk with glass. So this glass that I'm working on is roughly let's see, 25 inches, which is 75 centimeters. 75 centimeters by, it was 75 by 19, which is 38, by roughly 48 centimeters. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Sorry. 62 centimeters by 47, essentially, is the piece of glass that I have. Why couldn't I do that math? Yeah. Let's close this up. God damn it. Tried to avoid that. Now we crimp. Wipe it down one more time. Bend the crimp over. Crimp again. Clean. Bend it over one more time. Okay. Good. Get our labels. Go. Label it. Good. Ultramarine blue, everybody. Done. Ultramarine blue. clean up. And we got one more color to do. One more color, everybody. And you will not believe it. It's super exciting. You will not believe what color I'm doing next. Super controversial. I have Omizu. So I've done more research into the history of pigments, but a good starting spot, Omizu, is go to naturalpigments.com. That's where I get my paint, and that's where they sell their paint. But they also have a literature, like a library section, where one of the owners of the company writes essays. I'm not painting today, Marianne. I'm just making paint. I'm going to paint tomorrow, Marianne. I'm painting tomorrow. I am painting tomorrow. But not tonight. So, Mizu, if you go to that website and you find their, like... Basically, it's like columns written... It is not brown. It's very controversial mud, this color. Very controversial. But it's not that weirdo who paints with his poop. So yeah, Mizu, I would suggest starting there. And if you enjoy it and like more, I can refer more to you. All right. The last color we're doing is chromium green oxide. Not controversial at all. That was just clickbait. Clickbait, everybody. Question is, how much of this do I want to do? Do I want to do an entire jar? We're going to try doing a small tube, so we're not going to do the entire jar. Let me get my mask on. Good. I've learned a lot of technical details from them, Omizu. And if you like technical data, I mean, they have historical articles. They're all there. But if you'd like to know about current materials as well, they have a lot of great resources. Chromium green oxide time. It's good, Mizu. They're a good company to support. All right. So we got my mask back on, and we're going to. I said we're not going to do the entire thing. I think this one yields okay. My goal is to fill up a small tube with it. My goal is to fill up a small tube, but I also think I'm going to add some of my impasto medium to this as a test. So we'll go with a little bit more. Good. Good. Back.
with that. And so I'm pretty sure this is another pigment that loosens up quite a bit. Once you mold it. So we're just going to try and get it to the thick paste again. The thick with 3 C's. We'll see how much this loosens up. The yield is not great on this one compared to others. Thankfully, it's a cheap pigment. Also, anybody notice how little this color changed? That's because this is an opaque. This is a fully opaque pigment. Right? Remember how much ultramarine blue changed? And this one didn't? It's because this is opaque. A little bit difficult to mold though, even though it loosens up quite a bit. We're gonna try mixing some impasto medium into this. I'm curious if I should add a touch more pigment to this. It's loose, but not... I don't know. I think I kind of should. Just a scotch more.
This does mean we gotta remold it though. But I think it should needed to be a little bit thicker. Let's do it one more time. Fuck. Okay, let's tube this up. Let's tube it up, everybody. Tube. fuck. God damn. Just make a mess. Just make a mess. Face paint. I forgot to like bring it out, so I'm just doing it this way. The parchment paper would have been a lot better for these. Yep, the old scrape and tap today. So you all get that satisfying sound. How was your day today, Mud? I was lurking your stream, but I wasn't able to really... I was doing a bunch of other stuff, so I don't really get to listen to it that much. But I hope your day went well. That's good. I did hear you talking about Hannah waking up early. So I did hear that. But I'm glad she made it through her walk well. Oh, that's great. Yeah, then she's definitely starting to feel better, I imagine. Well, even better. I still gotta figure out what I'm gonna paint tomorrow. Anyone want to redeem anything for tomorrow? All you with a lot of points. Pickles. Shasta, Mud. Anything you want to redeem for tomorrow? Are you still saving up for the soul? It just takes some of the effort of figuring out what I'm going to do tomorrow. But if somebody was thinking about it. Oh my god! I almost made it through a stream! Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. That's not good. You know, I got 6K, J1. Well, there's also oily points. Well, look at you, Mud. I was curious. Well, I guess that one wasn't working either. But people did some other ones. They did the I'm being repressed, so it wasn't all the alerts. All right, Mud. You are at 64. You are at 64 oily points. So the ones that didn't have cooldowns were working at... Okay. Interesting. Well, it was a nice reprieve. I'd do anything. I mean, I'd do anything, Shasta. I'll just say this. Tomorrow would be a good day for it. But I could just paint as normal. Also, people have a ton of oily points that they do need to start using. Mud did get it. Mud spiked it. Wow, Mud, you were the first person in the stream. You were the first one in the stream today. Maddie, you goddamn know what oily points are.
I be smoking.
Yep, good work, Mud. Good work. You were the first person here. Maddie, aren't you in the Discord? Maddie, aren't you in the Discord? Okay. Well, I'll explain it to you. So, Maddie, every time you get a trivia point right, or you get that first redeem, you get an oily point, okay? You could redeem your oily points to have me do stuff. Like, you could have me do a palette knife painting. You could have me do a watercolor painting. You could redeem them to say, I want you to do a painting of Bruce Willis. And I will do a painting of them if you redeem those points. There's a list of things there are other things that you could redeem oily points for, and those are all on my Discord in the oily points channel. You get it now, Maddie? I keep track of the oily points. I keep track of the oily points, Maddie. So, so I have an Excel sheet that I manually keep track of all the oily points. So if you go to the oily point channel, you could see all the things that you could redeem oily points for. Now, there's 3 ways right now to get oily points. 1, get a trivia question right, or a question I ask when I offer it up. For every 500 bits donated, you get an oily point. And then if you redeem that first redeem, which is only once per stream, you get an oily point. They certainly are. Did I not have chromium green oxide? Nuts. Okay. Does this look green at all? Well, we'll just have to remember that you are green. All right, Shasta. Your question is... That is true. All right, Shasta. Let's see, what's a good one? What is a good one? All right, Shasta, you're gonna get one guess. You're gonna get one guess, Shasta. Yeah, Marianne, I'm just cleaning up and talking with chat, but we're gonna be done after this. I am painting tomorrow, Marianne, just FYI. How does what work if I'm on YouTube, Omizu? Has Melt Brain today? The oily point stuff? Or do you want like a Discord invite? Good night, Marianne. Sorry, I'm thinking, don't worry. Why can't I remember that name right now? Apparently I have melt brain because I can't remember the answer to the question I was thinking of asking. One second. Can't believe I forgot this name. Okay. Shasta. She might. I'll tell you in a second on Mizu. Okay. Shasta. I have a ton of hematite. You get one guess. I have a ton of hematite. What pigment should I make? What pigment can I make? One guess. I have a ton of hematite. But only hematite. I could make more medium, but I don't really feel like it. Let's get a Mizu. Let's get you a Discord.
Here you go, Mizu. That's a Discord invite. Shasta, is that your final answer? Is Venetian Red your final answer? One guess, Shasta. One guess. Shasta. I thought you really were going to get this one. I thought you really were going to get this one. 'Cause you did! Oh my god! You did. Venetian Red. Almost all hematite. Almost all hematite. Shasta, you are at 80 points. Next question, Shasta. You get a bonus question because you're in the Midnight Society. Hi, Pickles. All right, Shasta, your next question is... I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Amizu, you could answer this question too if you know the answer for an oily point. So, Amizu, if you... I asked trivia. We have a trivia contest that are redeems on Twitch and personal trivia questions. And if you get those right, you get an oily point. And you could redeem oily points to have me do a watercolor stream, to have me paint with a palette knife, to pick props for a still life. You could redeem the oily points or things like that. All right, the second question is open to everybody. This question is open to everybody. All right. Oh, I got so many dead ox lying around my place. What two things should I make? What two things should I make with these dead oxes lying around my place? No, you don't need to. I got so many dead oxen just lying in my main room. I need to do something with them. What should I do? What paint stuff should I make? Give me 2 in 1 line. 2 in 1 line. 2 in 1 line. Yeah, well, Mud, I'm gonna do my stuff first. God. And actually, there's 3 things. There's 3 things, everybody. But I'm only asking for 2. 2 answers in 1 line. What 2 things? What are a couple things I can make? Jaywan, you have 1 correct. Maddie, you are correct. Bone black and Prussian blue. Maddie, you are correct. Bone black and Prussian blue. Look at you. Maddie, you are now at 3 oily points, Maddie. You are at 3. Well, Omizu, it's just my Discord server. I could assure you it's just a Discord server, but I get it if you don't trust me yet. All right, we're gonna do a follow-up question now. What is the 3rd thing I could make from these dead oxen in my main room? What is the 3rd thing? Follow-up question, open to everybody. What is the 3rd thing I could make from these dead oxen? That was a major... There it is. There it is. Hoof glue. Shasta gets it right. Shasta, you're at 81 points. 81. Jello. I was talking paint materials. Paint materials, J1. You're goddamn right I am, Pickles. You want to do the big redeem, Mud, or you want to do the small redeem? Fallout Jello cake. I was considering doing a portrait because I haven't done a portrait in a while. But nobody really like came to mind strongly. Really,
Okay.
Omizu. Hold on, let me try clicking it. So I think it's your safety settings, Omizu, on your phone, that's blocking it. I think it's a safety settings or a trusted link thing. Sweepy, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Pickled hooves. Going well. We made some, we retubed the yellow, we made some lead white, we made some green, and we made some blue. And I found out that my lead white pigment goes a lot farther than I expected it to. So we get more yield from lead white pigment than I recalled. So that's great. That we're gonna get like 400 to 450 milliliters of lead white from a kilogram. Oh, sorry I missed your stream, Sweepy. But yeah. So that's where Maddie was. Maddie, you lied to me. Oh, awesome, Omizu. Welcome in. Who's the titty witty menace? Oh wait, Maddie is the titty witty menace. Oh, I was wondering who that was. How dare a sad face. Maddie told me that she was only in here. Oh, nice. Nice. She is a terrorist in mine. Maddie is a terrorist in my chat. See? Alright, there you go. See? Alright. Well, tomorrow we're gonna paint. Still don't know what yet. If you want to redeem something, let me know. Your pick of a movie: Pulp Fiction, The Big Lebowski, or Fargo? All great choices. Ghosties tonight? I'm not sure. Wishy's really busy tomorrow, so I don't know if Sashi will be up for it. My first instinct is Fargo, Mudworks, because the other two are a little bit, have been done quite a bit. I have considered painting Walter from The Big Lebowski. I've looked for Walter from The Big Lebowski before, but there just haven't been a lot of great references for Walter that I like personally.
Yeah, no, I think you're correct. Which character would you do you have a preference for like if I pick Big Lebowski, would you want Jeff Bridges or Donnie or Walter? And then from Pulp Fiction, who would you want? Or who would you like to see more? Francis McDormand. Well, Mudworks is Mudworks might do a redeem. Because people have a lot of points to redeem stuff, so they should start redeeming. From Fargo, who would I paint from Fargo? It'd probably be Steve Buscemi or the husband. What's his name? Forget his name. Yeah.
Nice.
And Francis, yeah. Walter is my favorite character out of all of them. I've just looked for Walter references before, and there's just not a lot of great ones. A lot of them are flat. I'll take a look at them tonight. I'll see which ones I have. I've seen people paint Samuel Jackson from Pulp Fiction a ton. I know those references exist. Just painting the same thing. But there might be some other ones that I don't know about that I like. Good to know. Alright. Yep. I've seen that so many times. Ooh, I do love that movie. Well, I would pick Jack Nicholson from that, Pickles. I love that movie. But Danny DeVito from that is a good one too. So is Christopher Lloyd. God, the ending of that movie is so good. I love the ending of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Oh, he's amazing. He's amazing in it. I love this chemistry, though. I love this chemistry. I like as an actor, I'm a fan of Jack Nicholson, and he's been in some of my favorite movies. Because like I don't talk about this one a lot, but I love the film Chinatown, and Jack Nicholson's great in that. Jack Nicholson's Joker's great. The Shining. But if you haven't seen Chinatown, Chinatown's an interesting film. Problem is, it's a shitty director. It's by the director who, raped somebody and fled to France. What, Roman Polanski? It's a Roman Polanski film. But it's so freaking good. I hate that I like a lot of Roman Polanski films because the guy's a shithead. Should be in jail. He's very gross. Awful. That's Woody Allen too. Thankfully, I don't like any. Well, I don't watch any Woody Allen films. Thankfully, I've just never gotten into them. I mean, marrying your adopted daughter is quite a thing. Andy Warhol, I just don't know a lot about him. Sashi, you know what, Pickles? If you're curious on Andy Warhol, Sashi knows a lot about him. We had an interesting talk one day about him. But Fargo could be cool. How about this, Mud? I'll tell you, this is what I'll do, Mud. Tonight, I'll look for references from those 3 movies, and if you like one of them, then do the redeem if you want to do the redeem. Julian Schnabel films. What I've heard that name before, Amnesia. What movies has he done? It's a very interesting film. That's what's his name? God, how do I forget his name? The director of 2001 and A Shining, same director, Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick. That's Kubrick again. There are some rough scenes. Oh, Basquiat. I heard that film was good. I'll have to check it out, Omizu. Kubrick did some really, really interesting things. Some really interesting things. He did a lot of stuff to confuse people, too. Like, here's a fun fact about 2001: A Space Odyssey. A lot of people think 2001: Space Odyssey was based off of the book, but in fact, it wasn't. Stanley Kubrick came up with the story, and then he had another guy write the book with limited details, so there'd be differences between the book and the movie. So Kubrick would do all these, like, outside things to fuck with people's perception of the film and the story, just outside of it. So he literally created the story, told the guy to write the book of this, and he gave him some of the plot points, but very little detail. It's super interesting. And it was kind of related to how he handled The Shining as well. The hallways in The Shining are so interesting. He did a lot with the perception of it, Mud, where somebody mapped out the hotel and it's just an impossible hotel, especially when you look at the outside of what it was. But there's impossible doors going around in The Shining. He did a lot of spatial awareness stuff to fuck with the viewer. It's so cool, some of the stuff he did. Interesting, Pickles. Personally, I hate 2001: Space Odyssey. I do not like that film. But I do find it interesting things that he did as choices. I've heard of a few of those, Omizu. I haven't seen them, though. Interesting. I will look them up after stream. But yeah. Alright. Well, seems like it might be about that time. Yeah. Might be about that time, everybody, huh? I've heard of that film too, Amizu. Huh. I might have seen parts of that. Huh. Well, do we have any friends on? I am having some Korean pork that I made yesterday, and rice, and pickled serranos. Oh, Babe's on too. Don't want. Via Archer, Skyhook. Oh, Garg! Garg! Garg's on. Yeah, we'll rate Garg. Alright, everybody. Painting tomorrow. Possibly a portrait. Greenbag, I'll see you in hell. Piggy pepper is delightful. Yeah, it is. I've enjoyed it. I also eat it with a sesame oil, garlic, and salt sauce. It's delicious. So we are going to be rating Garg. Dared. All right, Umizu. Umizu, you have a wonderful day or night as well. Hope to see you tomorrow. I hope to see everybody else tomorrow. Mud, Pickle, Shasta. Thank you. You're welcome, Umizu. Yeah, Mud, Pickle, Shasta, Sweet Bay. Anybody else I'm missing? I hope you have a wonderful night, Maddie. And we'll see you all tomorrow, or else. YouTube, I'll send you some references for you to look at probably in the morning. Good evening. All right, bye everybody.